Melodies in Mind would like to thank all of our syndicators for carrying the program. We'd also like to thank the NCRA, the National Campus Community Radio Association, for their broad support for our initiatives. We now have 5 syndicating stations in BC, 3 in Ontario, 1 in Nova Scotia, and 1 in New Brunswick. So we're effectively on the air from coast to coast, and a great range of people are able to listen to the program. It's a really wonderful thing to be able to give such wide exposure to grassroots music, and I thank you all for helping me to make this happen. All the best. Welcome to Melodies in Mind, the happiest show on earth. You are being summoned into the songs of the spirit of social concern. So relax, kick back, and join the harmony. Every week we bring 3 featured guests who share their music in an interview starting at 8 p.m. Then they come together for a full hour song circle at 9. Now, come with me and let us meet today's featured guest. Shall we? Alright, so today I'm going to play a couple of archived interviews from the year 2009. That was 4 years ago. Some of you listening were not born yet, but I suspect quite a lot of you were. And this first one will be Scott Cook. Last week I played a couple of songs from the album he was highlighting at this point in his career, so I thought this week I'll play the interview from the time that he came into the studio and we had an interview with Scott Cook. And then that'll be followed by an interview with David Sinclair, who is an incredible instrumentalist and a music lifer with a lot of good stories. In fact, both David and Scott had a lot of good stories, so that's what you got to look forward to starting now. Yes, the featured guest this week is Scott Cook.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Let's hear what you've got for us. Give them a taste of Scott Cook here.
All right. Place to be in love with. Fish jumping, pollywogs woggling, insects getting it on, and minds boggling with smoke dragons, happy hounds wagging, flies and butterflies zigging and zagging with. We could dance in the mud or just do whatever. You and I could put our heads together, talk solutions or just talk silly, sounding senses and sensibilities. We could get high to compliment the weather with. You and I could scatter our atoms together, see what different songs ring in the mingled spaces in between. Sister, your shady eyes, your dewy morning thoughts, your smooth tattooed sides. We could kick the hike and dig the sunny weather. You and I could wander down a winding road together and pick berries, explore and spelunk and wonder and gape. And who would have thunk it? Why, fish jumping, pollywogs woggling, insects getting it on, and minds boggling with smoke dragons, happy hounds wagging, flies and butterflies zigging and zagging with earth around and air above. What a lovely place to be in love with. We could raise a glass of wine and toast the weather. You and I could scatter our atoms together, see what different songs ring in the mingled space. can make Chinese lamps and float them down the river. Hold each other with our bodies all a-quiver and close the tent fly against the rainy weather. You and I could zip our sleeping bags together.
Very nice.
Thanks.
I was just listening to your album this afternoon, getting ready for this, and the reproduction of that song was really quite good. I was just listening to the album again. It was really good. What is it Long Way to Wander? Is that? Yeah. That's a very awesome album. It's I review a lot of albums, but this is one that I'll listen to actually from time to time just to listen. So, congratulations on good work.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
Was that your first album, or how many albums have you done?
That's my first solo album. I used to play with a band called the Anglers, based out of Taiwan, and we cut a record in 2003. Right. And that one, we just kind of dropped it. We didn't really do anything with it. And then it was 4 years, in between before I got this record out. And I just did this one over in Taiwan with a friend in his apartment, and took us the better part of a year to get it all together, And but I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's very interesting to listen to, and it seems, I guess, a lot of the songs are based on real experience. Then is it all?
Yeah, it's all
all real.
Yeah, it's all true.
Yeah, that's one of the really great things about it. There's just so many different pictures of different times, and I think that's really a nice thing about the album.
Hey, really glad you dig it.
Yeah. I
don't know. People say you'd run out of stuff to write about, if you just write about your own life, but I don't know. Weird stuff keeps happening.
Yeah. Was there a particular time that last song was sort of looking at, or what?
Yeah, that was written at the South Country Fair back in probably 2002. I think it's a festival in southern Alberta.
Oh, okay. Yeah, lots of outdoor kind of imagery. Yeah.
And a little rain, like usual.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. And how's the album been doing?
It's done well. It's kind of it's kind of cooled off now.
Yeah.
But it did well. It actually made it into the top 10 on Earshot's folk roots charts.
Nice.
Which I thought was nice, just to see my name up there.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of people who haven't heard it, and I'm still kind of touring in support of it. I'm looking to make another record when I get back to Edmonton in May. Yeah. Just trying to scrounge the money together right now to get that done. But
well, definitely, it's definitely a very nice listen. A lot of the songs just seem to really, at least my experience has been that they really stick, like that one.
Right on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's hear another song here from Scott Cook.
Well, how about something new?
Okay.
Okay, this is a new one. This is a song I wrote about playing in bars and all that kind of, the underside of the music business.
Yes.
The less attractive side.
The vast underbelly.
Yeah. It seems to be mostly belly, actually. That music business. This one's called Carbon Stone. On the highway, like pearls at night. String of red going my way, alongside a string of white. And I'm trying to remember just how free and lucky I am. But I'm racing back and forth to nowhere, and I'm too tired to give a damn. Sometimes I feel I've been suckered by a dream of living on the road. Turns turns out it's a lot like being a trucker. It's a lot of driving alone. Pull into the next town, feeling weary and strange. Seems I'm coming to resemble the very things I want to change. A room full of strangers, and I'm trying to connect, but they only want to hear what they've already heard. What did I expect? And one says you're some kind of tripper, just following the muse along. And I say it's a lot like being a stripper, a lot of trying to turn drunks on. Those of us who'll do it, will do it anyway. And that suits the ones who use it, 'cause they don't have to pay now. And they say you're a charmer, and aren't you having fun? And I say it's a lot like being a farmer. It's a lot of just getting her done. I'm thinking of a young girl who shook me up with a smile. She was dreaming of roads and songs, and she rode along a while. Like an ocean, she crashed and rolled out again. She was in love with a vague notion, not this particular man. And she says don't sweat when things don't go well, there'll be plenty more along your way. And I say it's a lot like living in hotels. It's nice, but you can't stay. You start out with something sacred that you want to tell someone, and this mean old world might break you, or you might just take the money and run. And it might be good for your karma. Yeah, rambling has its thrills, but it's more like being a farmer, struggling to pay the bills. Met a kid in a campground with a guitar and a head full of dreams. Started on a road I've been down with no idea what it means. And I wanted to warn him about some stuff up ahead, but it occurred to me his road ain't mine. I should be telling myself instead. And he says he might starve alone, but he's hoping for some bright day. And I say it's a lot like carving stone. You just keep chipping away. It's a lot like carving stone. You just keep chipping away.
That's a really great tune. Yeah. Nah, I like the trucker, get her done. No, the farmer, you gotta get her done.
Farmers are getting her done.
Getting her done, yeah. It's a great quote for yeah. Yeah, I find there's a lot of like colloquial types of stuff in your work too, which I really appreciate, because You don't get that. You don't get that enough, you know?
Well, I really like John Steinbeck.
Yeah, actually, I'm reading John Steinbeck right now. I just started reading another one of his.
I like how he sticks to form with his characters and makes his characters believable.
Yeah.
Because they're probably real people, and, that's how they
for
actually
sure.
talked, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. I just started reading East of Eden. You ever read that? I just started reading
I just
that.
started it as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. But I'm bad with books.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Cool. Yeah, the underbelly. That's for sure. Like, all the traveling. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, for the most part, I like the traveling.
Yeah.
That's a large part of the reason I got into doing this.
Yeah.
Just because I like the traveling, but I guess it's just some of the places you end up playing that might get you down, But I don't know. It seems to me it's sort of an endurance contest, The longer you're at it, and eventually, things come around or whatever, and you have to put up with a certain amount of indignity.
Yeah.
I could temper that with a happier song about traveling.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a tune I wrote about living in my van.
Okay.
And that's for real too. Although right now I'm fortunate enough to have couches to stay on. But yeah. And a thermarest on my good friend's floor there on Commercial Drive.
Yeah.
Just right within stumbling distance of Café du Soleil, where I'll be on Wednesday. But
that's nice,
yeah, this one last year we were out at Café du Soleil, and a good buddy of mine ended up having to crash, and I crashed in the van, and I gave him a tarp, and that's how this song involves Vancouver. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called "This One's on the House." I live in my van, and it's a fine place to live. I sleep where I please and wake smiling. There's no rent to pay, and I change the yard most every day. From Halifax out to the Queen Charlotte Islands. There's no shame in being a hobo, and it's a great luxury to have a car. And it seems to me that I'm one lucky mofo, sleeping out alone beneath the stars. I loaned my friend Bryn an orange tarp to curl up in, out drinking one rainy night in Vancouver. And he thanked me 2 times. He was just so happy to be dry, though the police tried to make him feel like a loser. There's no shame in being a hobo. Shame's only for those who got pride. And you gotta keep an eye out for the po-po. But sometimes even the po-po will let you ride. This one's on the house, sweet child. This one's on the house. Save your money for another mile. This one's on the house. This one's on the house, sweet child. This one's on the house. Save your money for another mile. This one's on the house. Sleeping in parks and living in cars, and sneaking drinks into bars, and washing up in lakes and truck stops might be frowned on. But you'll do what you must, get love from those you trust, and get yourself to the road that you'll be found on. There's no shame in being a hobo. and we always get taken care of somehow. And you sure can take it with you when you go. Might as well get used to living without now. You sure can take it with you when you go. Might as well get used to living without now.
Nice. I don't know. I can't talk about this enough. I think your music really draws someone in. Like, that's what I'm finding here right now. Is it's almost hard for me to do the interview I normally do because I'm drawn in. I'm in the story, and I just want to keep the story going. Yeah.
Well, to keep the story going,
all I need to do
Bryn
is just
didn't
play
get in
another
any
one.
trouble. He didn't get in any trouble. The police let him off, and
Yeah?
yeah, it was okay.
He was okay.
They told him not to sleep there again, but
Yeah.
otherwise it was all right. And he wasn't ashamed. That's about as far as the story goes, I guess. Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, I think maybe we went down to the park and had a jam. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vancouver's a nice city to be in the springtime, and
Yeah. Yeah, we're waiting for the cherry blossoms now. Have you ever seen them?
Yeah, last year when I was here, when that incident occurred, that was in May.
Yeah.
And it was they were blooming all around there, and we spent some days jamming in the park on Commercial Drive there.
Yeah.
Yeah, met some good folks.
Yeah. It's great. All right. Well then, we have time for another song here.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Let's maybe you want to. Do you have any shows coming up in town?
Yeah, let's plug that show.
Let's plug that show, right?
Tomorrow. In Vancouver, on Commercial Drive at the Café du Soleil.
Okay. Just a reminder for local listeners here in Vancouver that this is from 2009. So if you went to attend this Scott Cook show that is being promoted right now, you would be 4 years late. So disregard this little section here.
Angela Healy.
Okay.
Yeah. All three of us will be doing few numbers together at the end, and our own sets before. So
I'm
should be fun. It's $5. It's
$5. Yeah.
9 o'clock. The music starts 9 o'clock sharp and goes till midnight.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, listeners, I definitely recommend going out there to that. Scott Cook, Renee Layla. Man, she's quite actually knocks you out with her.
Yeah, crazy good singer.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay, so what's next?
Oh, I don't know. Any requests off the record?
I was thinking about the one where it starts in this deep south. You're talking about your grandmother or something?
Okay, sure, yeah. That's called My Grandma.
Okay.
Grandma's from Alabama there. After the letter V comes W. And every time we play rummy, she says, "Child, I'm fixin' to whoop ya." And she usually does. Going to the city school, I was embarrassed of my roots, yet I never had enough to pull off the chaps or cowboy boots. But the levels are all shifting now. It ain't about what's below and above you. Working in the oil camps up north, it was cold and boring, but the silences were big. Country boys and Maritimers busted me up laughing, but man, they were pigs. Two roughnecks got drunk one night, met some girls in town. The road was iced and the truck went in the ditch when they came back around. They hot-wired a bobcat and drove drunk 5 miles an hour back to the rig. Some of my friends are out planting trees, and other folks keep busy cutting them down. And we all have our sympathies. The world mocks expectations all around. But we can't carry old grudges, even if most of them are true. By the same measure that you judge, will it be measured against you? The levels are all shifting now. Love the lost until they're found. Back home it was beautiful, effortless in the company of old friends. We wiled away the weeks that way, got wilder on the weekends. I split from all that English and I turned from brown to green, remembering the world outside of words and what they mean. The story's getting wider now. Let's take a look around here, not toward the end. Look back on the road, how is it that we've come this far? And how is it that we're so blessed to be exactly where we are?
I love the opening rhyme. The W, whoopia.
Hasn't been done. To the best of my knowledge, hasn't been done.
Again, you're just catching the voice. I'm fixing to whoop ya. I've heard it before, but not in a song. Might have even happened a time or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite an interesting traveling song, too. I mean, it goes from, I guess, did you work in the rigs? Is that?
I used to work in the camps, yeah.
In the camps, yeah.
As a camp attendant, yeah. I did that for a couple of winters. And
yeah.
It's, it could be depressing up there.
Yeah, it does. Way up north.
Yeah, it could be a downer. But I had lots of free time and play guitar and look at the stars. And,
Yeah, sweet. All right, well, I look forward to hearing more from you in the Song Circle, which comes at 9. So
sweet.
Thank you for being the feature this week.
Right
and
on. Thank you so much, Ryan.
This week we have David Sinclair. Welcome. All right, so now we're back into live programming. So that was an interview with Scott Cook. If you're wondering about the Song Circle, there will not be a Song Circle. There'll be me playing songs, though. And you can imagine the people that are here in the studio. You can easily do that. The imagination can do a lot of things. You can actually, in the next half hour, imagine David Sinclair is right in front of you playing music in his invisible way. But he could be there, because our David Sinclair interview is next. And I guess the tie-in between these two artists is just they have such lovely personalities. They're very, very genuinely good people. So here is David Sinclair.
Hi, Ryan. Thanks.
Let's hear what you have for us here today on Melodies of Mine.
Okay. Let me start with a piece called Dragonfly, the instrumental piece.
Nice. So, how do you learn to play guitar like that?
I don't know. You just do, I guess. I've been doing it since I was 8 years old, and
Oh, wow, yeah.
kind of never learned to do anything else, really.
Did you just start playing and that's what you sounded like, or was there a bit of a learning process?
Yeah, no, it was pretty much like that. Yeah, I started, down in the valley or some silly things that were in some silly book that they made me play. But, and then, yeah, for me, it was kind of when I got to like junior high school, and some guys found out that I could play some guitar, and so I was a hot commodity, and that was pretty cool. So I guess that encouraged me to carry on, and kind of went from there.
All right. So would you say that that's your passion, is the guitar, or what?
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good bet. I mean, it's guitar is, and music period is like a never-ending learning thing. There's so many different channels you can go through, and I've been fortunate enough to go through a lot of them. Worked with lots of different people and played in lots of different styles and gone to lots of faraway places, and it's been a cool adventure, and it keeps changing as the industry itself keeps changing really rapidly, but it keeps it interesting for sure.
And I can hear a lot of complexity in your composition too, and I always like it. Like, I've come across quite a few instrumental guitarists, but every once in a while there'll be someone where there's just so much in there that you can't believe it's just one person playing guitar. Like, do you build it all at once, or do you layer it? How do you go about creating an instrumental like that?
It goes in a lot of ways. Often there will be a melodic thing to it, but if you're just doing it by yourself, you want to outline the harmonies too. So then it's kind of figuring out how to make that happen so that you're hearing the harmonic movement you want, and getting the melodies you want. So like on that piece, there's a point where I got to put my thumb over the top of the guitar while playing, just to get that bass note right. And so sometimes you have movements that may be a little awkward at first, but you kind of build those in, and then that builds up your repertoire of doing different things and achieving what you need. But it's kind of, I don't know, for me it's getting it in my head what I want to hear, and then going for that. And sometimes you just put your hand somewhere and it's like, oh, I like that. But often it's that your ear is directing you where you want to go with it. And that's pretty true with compositions in general, that you want to be driven by what you want to hear.
Yeah, I've listened to your instrumental album. Today we're also going to be talking about your songwriting album, I believe.
Cool.
Yeah. But really, there's only one instrumental guitarist I've really gotten into before listening to your album, and that is Bruce Cockburn.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just something about it compares to Bruce Cockburn in the sense that of the layering, I think. I'm trying to articulate what it is, but yeah. Is that an influence of yours, or is that something you know? Or?
Yeah, no, definitely that. And there was I can't remember the album of his. It was years ago, but it had a really beautiful instrumental piece called "The Sun Wheel Dance" on it, and it had on the back of the record had a transcription, and I learned that piece. And this is years and years ago, and really liked it. And sometimes I'll even play it still, on a live show. And he had a great style, or has a great style, and I really dig his playing, and his songs too are great songs. I've met him a few times in Toronto.
Okay, well, let's hear another one here.
Okay, so let me do I'll do a vocal piece here. I need we were talking about having sounding like more than one guy, and I'm gonna artificially sound like more than one guy, because I'm going to, at one point, put on the loop pedal here and add some extra little stuff here. Here it is. Mercury rising, global unrest. Something's coming, anyone's guess. Terrorist cells, corporate greed, ozone holes, HIV, internet scams, electoral fraud, ethnic cleansing in the name of God. It's a strange paradise. Wildlife cults, nuclear waste, drug cartels, acid rain, warring nations, trouble in times, greenhouse gases, landmines. It's a strange paradise. CBMs, WMDs, Opus Dei, Mujahideen, Tiananmen Square, Guantanamo Bay, global warming coming your way. It's a strange paradise.
There is smoke coming from the guitar.
All right.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, that's really good. Okay. I don't know what to say. That sounds like a lot of bad news in that song there, I guess.
I know. Yeah. You're right. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. But yeah, it's a song about stuff.
Stuff, yeah.
Without, saying anything other than there is that stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to ask about is, because I've seen you a few times now, and you just seem to always be an undeniably happy person. I don't know how that song ever came from you. What happened?
Well, another funny thing too is, and I'll do another song later on that kind of came out of that, but I was doing some concerts, and it kind of came to my attention that the vocal songs I was doing were all kind of, well, I don't know about depressing, but kind of the dark side.
Yeah.
And so I kind of made a point of, I should write something that's kind of light and frivolous, because the song's about that, which is kind of about everything, but just kind of down topics, abortion and breakup and.
But at the same time, it did have kind of a jumpy beat.
A jumpy beat, yeah.
Yeah, it almost wanted to dance and celebrate all these things.
Okay.
Yeah. Happy disaster, I guess. Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Oh. What keeps you happy? Is it the music, or what is it? Just
definitely that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I feel very privileged to be able to do what I do and be able to make a living doing it, and, be able to devote my time to doing that thing that I really enjoy doing, and it's a constant growth. I keep learning new stuff and turning new corners, and like this solo kind of acoustic thing for me is kind of a revisiting that, because I was doing that in my teens, and then I got playing with the studio beckoned, and folks were hiring me to play with them and tour with them, and play all kinds of different musics and stuff. And then more recently I got back to doing that thing that I kind of embarked on years ago, and it's really been great. I'm really enjoying doing it.
Have you been writing all along, like writing your own?
Yes, although we did, I was in some bands in the 80s called Straight Lines, and then it kind of evolved to a band called Body Electric, and we were on CBS Records and had a number of radio hits and toured and stuff, and we wrote like every night that we were in town. We'd get together and write songs, and when the band folded, it was like, I don't have to do that every night anymore, and I kind of didn't for quite a long time. I didn't do any writing other than I was doing some scoring for television and stuff like that, but you're writing to an assigned thing. Here's, you need to do this, and you do it really fast, and you don't think about it, you just kind of do it. And I could do that, write an assignment, but as far as just creating something, that I had an aversion to that for several years, and then that kind of started to come back.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about what it's like going on tour with a big act. Because I understand you've done this quite a few times now, and it seems like I know you've toured with Sarah McLachlan. And tell us a little bit about who you've been involved with, and perhaps you can give us a bit of a description of what that's like to be going to a new city every night, perhaps quite a distance away. Maybe would you be able to talk a little bit about that?
No, forget it.
Yeah?
Well, I started, I was saying, I was doing my solo thing, and then I started working with both Valdi and Susan Jacks on that concert tour thing, and that was a lot different than doing the Sarah tours. We traveled in vans, but we crossed Canada a few times like that, and then in the bands we did that too. We crossed and flew the country. Then the Katie Lang tours and Sarah tours, we generally would have a big tour bus, and we'd go up for 12 weeks at a time or something like that, and we got to Europe and the Orient as well. And those things, generally we'd be riding the bus overnight. We'd have bunks in the bus, and they'd after the show you get on the bus and they drive to the next place overnight, and you get out and you're at the next town, next venue, and which was actually kind of nice, as opposed to flying where you got to go to the hassle of getting to an airport and hanging around and doing that. We just after the gig you step right on the bus, and it got really comfortable. There were times that some of the folks would in a new town, rather than stay in the hotel, they'd stay in their bunk on the bus because it was more comfy. They get so used to it. Although the first few nights you don't get much sleep until you get used to that motor thing going, and
interesting.
It was a good thing. There's two sides to those tours, and it's great to play in front of big audiences and have someone tuning your instruments and setting up your gear and all that stuff. And on the other hand, you are here's what you're playing. You get this menu of a given number of songs that you're going to play for the next 2 years, and it's not a huge creative outlet.
Okay.
You have spaces for a few creative moments that you have a few solo bits or something, but generally you're playing a scripted thing there that and you can get really minute and perfect it to an incredible degree, and that's a skill in itself, which I think I got pretty good at. But it's also really fun to just kind of step out and just play something else with some other folks, and do the solo thing where you're all by yourself and completely responsible for everything.
Well, interesting. That's quite something. Well, maybe you can play another one for us.
Here. You could probably do that.
What do you got going on? You probably can. That's good.
So let me do Let me do this, which is a traditional Celtic piece, called Ships Are Sailing that was on my instrumental No Words CD that I kind of rearranged and changed around. And an interesting thing happened with this, that I played a CD release concert at in Presentation House in North Van, and there's one of the high schools, Eric Camber High School, has a guitar class, and I'd done a workshop or something there, and a bunch of the students came. And about a month later, I got this thing, go to this YouTube site, and 3 of the students had done a version of this piece. They
nice.
got the copy of the CD and figured out the parts and played this as their graduation thing, and it was so cool to see. But anyway, I'm going to do it all by myself with just adding an extra little part here. I need to step on that first.
Great to have some Celtic on the show. That's really good. Yes, indeed.
Is this my chair that squeaks? There's something that squeaks in here.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah. Could be one of the mice. There's a bunch of mice running around in here.
Studio mice.
Yeah. What is that? Yeah.
I don't know. It's something. That's something with the chair. It's a musical chair.
No. Maybe people can call in and guess.
Yeah. Well, if they have graphic EQs on their radios, they just turn up the very top one down a bit.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about this album here that you have coming now.
It's going to be a combination of vocal and instrumental pieces, and the first 2 pieces will be part of it: the Dragonfly song and the Strange Paradise song. Yeah, and just I was doing some gigs, just playing the instrumental stuff, and just felt that I wanted to not just be playing for guitar players, because that's often what you get if you're just a guitar instrumentalist. And because, I mean, I'm not trying to be a technical virtuoso. There are some great players who do that, and I totally admire that. But I kind of wanted to reach a more musical level, just that, the compositions have that thing, and it seemed like if I incorporated vocal pieces, I just had a wider appeal maybe to folks that, and plus I went, I was watching like Don Ross and a few folks like that who are, noted instrumentalists and throw in some vocal pieces, and their shows are really entertaining. So I thought, what the heck, I should do that, because I also had a large library of songs that I've written, as well as creating new ones. So it seemed like an idea whose time was
yeah. And do you have I know it's hard to predict these things, but do you have a guess of when the release date might be, or when that's going on?
I'm really thinking it's going to be the fall. I keep getting tied up with new things. I'm producing a record right now. We're in mix of a Gary Felgard record, and then I've got a bunch of other stuff lined up, and so I haven't been hurrying. I've just been kind of taking it as it comes, and adding, pieces as they occur, and recording things. So it's gradually getting compiled, but stuff keeps coming up and getting in the way. But that's okay, There's no hurry. And nowadays too, with the internet being kind of the medium, as opposed to 10 years ago it was more radio. You released something and it went to radio everywhere, and so the shelf life was shorter because everybody kind of heard it at the same time. But nowadays they don't. They get, you go to a town or something and they get exposed to your music, and it's new to them, and then you go somewhere else and same thing. So you got longer time before you need to make a new record.
You can kind of do it one song at a time as well.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
And do you have any shows upcoming?
I do, come to think of it. I will be at the Railway Club next Tuesday from 10 to 12:30.
Oh, after my show, good.
Yeah?
Yeah, good.
That's right, well, that's why.
Just a reminder, you're listening to an interview from 2009, so if you're going to rush over to the Railway Club to listen to David Sinclair, you will be disappointed, because you might be surrounded by the memory of him being there 4 years ago, but he won't be there. This is an old interview.
Courtney and Gibson's. I think that's about it for that. But I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be really fun.
Okay. So we have time for one more song here on our way out before we go to the recorded segment.
Okay, let's do then. That being the case, oops, is that on? Yeah, take that off. Okay.
Just a reminder, you're listening to Melodies of Mine on CJSF 90.1 FM. We're at Simon Fraser University on top of Burnaby Mountain, here in the setting sun. The sun is. You could also be listening from many other stations that we're syndicated on.
Got your picture hanging on my wall, but I don't think about you. I don't think at all. And I don't read your letters. Don't care what you do. In the night I wake up, reaching out for you. I don't know why. I don't know why. I know this can't be love. You're not supposed to be the one, and I still got your number. Speed dial on my phone, but I'm not gonna call you. thought I saw you running round. Well, I'm not gonna stand in your way, and I know it's hard to back down. Soon it's gonna be too late. I don't know why. I don't know why. I know this can't be love. You're not supposed to be the one.
Wow. The speed of your picking is unbelievable.
Cool, thanks.
Well, I guess I have to believe it because it is actually true.
Yeah, I did that very thing. This chair's squeaking away, though.
It is,
it's
yeah.
making me laugh
We'll
a
see
bit
if we
there.
get a, yeah. I don't know if people heard that, but you just
Yeah.
about, yeah. All right. And this concludes our Features Hour. I am Ryan Fletcher, and Melodies in Mind is a syndicated program produced in Burnaby, British Columbia. If you would like to download a second hour of this episode, it can be found, along with all past episodes, online at www.unconformed.com/melodies-in-mind. If you would like to make a donation to the program, this can also be done online at www.unconformed.com. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed our program.